Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming, listening to me, and giving me the opportunity to share with you my experience. I'm Elena, and I'm now working as a temporary export manager with a branch of the Confindustria Association of Piacenza. Today, with you, after a short overview about myself, my previous studies, and some consideration about my previous jobs, just to let you know me better, I would like to concentrate more on the SWOT analysis, but seen as a method to plan personal development. I set up some slides, more or less running through the timeline of my life, focusing here and there more on the technical, personal, or practical aspect where I thought it could be useful for you. There is a case study also you can go through by your own at home. Now we are having just an overview, and I'll let you read it in detail by your own. And as the final step of the presentation, there is a little page with some hints and tips, a practical one, something I've learned in my everyday job. Okay, to begin with, my background is in music, economics, international marketing, and ISO 9001 quality management systems. I worked for 10 years by my own as self-employed, taking care of my husband's family business. Then I divorced and changed job. I decided to join a company where I've been 12 years. The first 4 years as a technical director and sales manager assistant for the European area, and the last 7 years I stepped up to the role of quality assurance engineer, taking care in autonomy about the documentation set of entire project and taking care in cooperation with my chief about the company quality management systems. Now I'm working as temporary export manager, and we'll see together how I reached this position. Well, now that you know me better, let me say I'm really happy to be here with you, not to talk by the top of something, but just to share with you what I learned step by step in my life, many times making mistakes at first. I'm just a bit older than you, and something more that I learned time by time. Okay? By the way of sharing, I would like to share with you a couple of things I understood from my first job. Working by my own, and then later on working as employee, I've kind of seen the two sides of the same coin. I understood something suddenly and something later. The first two things I would like to share with you are those one. Finish means paid, because when you work by your own, you don't have a monthly salary. So you firstly understand, you soon understand how important it is that your job is paid, and your job is finished only when it's paid, because you need to receive your money. That's why you feel really, really frustrated when you have to ask for your customer your money once, twice, or more. And later, when I was in the company, I saw the same frustration I felt in my colleagues of the administration department, because they also had to ask companies for the money they owned us. And I understood that it's simply a fact. Sometimes they pay, sometimes they don't pay. You just have to deal with it, ask for your money without fear. And if it's possible, I know there are banking systems for payments, you can weaken the risk, but if it's possible, agree partial advance payment, mostly if you are supplying a long time taking product or service. Advance payment is the best solution. In the company we agreed that 10% of payment at the order, 20% of the approval of the drawings, and so on, step by step, partial payments. Well, now we have the case study I brought to you today. We are going just having a fast overview about the case study, because you are reading them by your own at home, you're reading the slides by your own at home, because they are pretty clear. I just want to explain the structure. Well, the company I was employed in is the From Engineering. This is the structure of the group the company owned to. with based in Switzerland, let's say, and with 2 production facilities in Italy. Okay, I just want to explain the marketing, I just tried to explain the marketing strategies of the group to let you understand how marketing strategies have to do something about people, processes, relationships with the customers, suppliers and contractors of the company. So you will see firstly some visual slides about the marketing strategy of the company that was more focused on market development and slightly focused on product development, and how this reflected, how this affected internal processes and people and external partnerships and customer perceptions, not only about the product but also about the company itself. You can read by your own at home. I'm giving the slides to your teacher. Then to add, let's say, a photo of the structure, we have the operational part of the marketing strategy. That's the marketing mix, the 4 P's you saw before with your teacher. Okay, so how are you going out on the market with this product? At what price? With which kind of promotion and in which places? And of course, distributing how. Okay? Then we go through the changes. The company in 12 years had almost 2 main changes in its marketing strategies, and I tried to set up the slides highlighting how these changes affected internal and external processes of the company. So the first changes was due to a merging with a British company to enhance product development. And this is how this reflected on the company internal and external factors. The second changes was due to an acquisition. We have been acquired by a more financial strong group that again had a different marketing strategies. They had a diversification marketing strategy. So no more markets, no more only a different product, but different products on different markets. That's the most risky one. And this is how these strategies affected internal and external factors. Well, as the end of the case study, I just tried to sum up some little problems you may have to face working in a multinational company, which doesn't mean only to work with foreign customers, but also with foreign colleagues, directors and suppliers. You can read this little list at home. What I want to share with you today is a couple of points. The first is foreign colleague and project managers, because mostly when you deal with foreign colleagues, they are not here, you have to phone them or Skype them. I can suggest you later on to sum up in an email what you said each other, the main concept, because misunderstandings are really, really easy to occur. And the other point I want to share with you is about foreign customers, because in my experience it's better to take information in advance about who is coming in your firm, what nationality it is and what culture he has. Because you know, it's real that everyone is a person, and we can't generalize if you're Italian in such a way or if you're German you're in another. But every nation has slightly differences in cultures, and these slightly differences must be taken in huge consideration if you want your customer to feel at home, comfortable and concentrated on you, on your product, and not of something else distracting him. For example, I had to deal a Japanese project by my own, and with our customers I realized they took in great consideration my business card. I would have taken their business card in my pocket, but they took my business card on the table all the day, and time by time they looked at who I was. If I hadn't a business card, I was no one in the company. Cultural differences sometimes must be taken in consideration, is a fact. what I would like to concentrate more with you, what I would like to draw to your attention is something that happened after 12 years working with this company, when one day I was flying back from my holiday and I was really relaxed. I was still in the airport and I received this phone call from a colleague of mine telling me that in the morning they had a meeting and all the employees had been informed that the company was closing. So I looked at my partner that was with me and was a colleague of mine too, and they told me, honey, you're fired. Me too. I can't tell you the answer, but I can tell you that from that day on, we had a really bad period, 5 months of fighting. We had to agree with the company compensation for the collective firing procedure they opened, and most of that we had to transfer everything, our know-how, our methodologies, our procedures, our drawings, to a company in Poland which replaced us inside the group. We had to teach them how to do our job, being aware we would have lost our job. It has been really, really tough. What we did, we dealt it as a team, we met after work, and we finally decided how to go on with the company. We reached an agreement, and the 1st of August we were all out of the company. Everyone was soon sent out his CVs, and I had a couple of interviews, but I soon realized that to cover the same position I had in my company, that was in the quality assurance department, I would need an engineering degree. I had a big leak, so I decided to stop a moment and analyze more in detail the situation. I made a SWOT on myself. The SWOT is a simple method to analyze a situation in the purpose of an object. My object was to find a job similar to the one that I had, because I really felt confident in my job. I did it 7 years, I was really good, but I had a big weakness. What I knew is that I had also a big opportunity. I had 2 years of subsidy. Not a huge one, but enough to take my decision carefully. So, in 2 years, reaching a degree in engineering is not possible. I decided to change objects. Sometimes you made a SWOT, and in the meantime you understand your object is not reachable. This is the case. So I decided the object was another. No more a job in the quality assurance department, but a job suited to me, to my background, my attitudes, and my abilities. Well, okay, let's look at the situation once again. There was a big threat. The market was stopped in Italy and low in Europe. The threat was the crisis. But as a result, the export was growing, because when Italy and Europe was low, they were low. So Italian factories was exporting more and more. So if I, let's say, choose to change my field of action from the quality to the export, I would have turned out the threat in an opportunity. And that's what you try to do in a SWOT. You try to weaken the threat, or best again, transform the threats in opportunities. So I had the opportunity of 2 years of subsidy and the export area. Am I able to cover the export area? I asked myself. Let's look at my strength. Well, I had a background in economics. I had a slight knowledge of 3 languages, Spain, French, and a little bit more of English. And I had worked in a multinational company for 12 years. So maybe yes, but I had also a couple of weaknesses. I had a really old background in economics. My diploma could vote at the election. It was 20. So quite old, and I missed technical certification in the export area. So I had 2 years. I started to collect information to understand if I could fulfill my weaknesses in these 2 years. I asked firstly at the university. I had some old exams to use, but it was really too expensive and long time taking to use my university exams. So I decided to hold on a moment the university stuff, and I asked to some certified centers The most well-known one in Piacenza is the For.P.In, that's connected with Confindustria, and there I found my solution. They had an international training, international marketing and trade IFTS course beginning in few months. IFTS courses gives you a certification of the 4th European level as the diploma is, and is more technical certification. It's like a little master. I then looked at the time, and the course is taken 1 year. So I had 2 years, 1 year for the course and 1 year to look for another job. I decided to join this opportunity and to fulfill in this way my weaknesses. That's another thing you try to do with the SWOT, is to cover your weaknesses. I returned in class. I attended class for 8 months at 8 hours a day. I had an internship period later on, and then, as I was always been a good student, I've been chosen from the For.P.In itself for this project of temporary export management, which with the Confindustria Association supplies consultancies to the associated firms that are facing internationalization. So let's say if I was a product, in the 2012 I was here in my maturity, and I had a really bad trend in front of me. I decided to put on a SWOT on me, to put on some R&D. I spent money and time on my R&D. I test my product on the market with the internship period, and then I return on the market as a new product in a growing position with an added value. Well, what I'm asking you to do today, thank you very much. What I'm asking to do to you today, if you feel like, is to do your own SWOT analysis, to understand if your object is the best you can achieve, or maybe you can have a even better goal, because you have to look at your strength also, okay? Only if you feel. I don't need to know the result, but if you need some information or anything, you have my email address at the end of this presentation. You can write me. You simply write on the object a chat to share, and I will answer you back. I'll be more than happy to help. To finish the presentation, we have some hints and tips. They are pretty clear, and I leave you to read them by your own. They are practical ones, and there are all things I understood, mostly making mistake, me firstly, okay? What I want to share with you is the last tip. That's the one I care most, and is do your best to enjoy working hard, because mostly today you hardly reach a great result without an hard job. But if the hard job is what you like to do, is no more an hard job, it's just you following your passion. And what I wish to all of you is to find your passion and a job in that area. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Any question? Okay.
Very interesting presentation.
If you have any questions, here I am, but if you feel like to write me your question, I will answer you, okay? Thank you.
The next come up is Dr. Sita from Tecniche. As you know, as you can notice, we have different companies, very different companies. We